Hey guys, this is Tim with Invisible Pain. I'm going to try to throw a video up here on YouTube tonight and talk about addictions, family addictions when it comes to drugs, alcohol, whatever the addiction is. But most people's addiction, I mean, there are people that are addicted to alcohol. I'm going to tell y'all a couple of stories about people being addicted. When I was a young man, there was this guy. There was an old man that lived a few miles from our house. He would come over and visit our family. Super nice guy. Super nice guy. He's always smiling, always kind of running his mouth. But and you could tell, even when I was little, you could tell that he was drunk when he came around the house, and he was always driving. And he started getting really swelled, and my uncles hadn't seen him in a few days, so they decided to ride over to his house and see what he was doing, see what he was up to. So when they pulled up in the driveway, this man, he had a tree right in front of his house that he always, when I turned, kind of hung up by himself. He's kind of a loner, didn't really have no friends other than my uncles and my mom and them, and they'd go over and talk, see him. But other than that, he really didn't have a lot of people that cared about him. And when they brought over to his house that day, he was up under that tree, and he had such a problem with alcohol that when they found him, he wouldn't spend his money on food and groceries and stuff like that for his house. He spent his money on white liquor. And when they found him, he was up under that tree, and he had died. And beside of him was a half-eaten can of dog food and half a quart of white liquor. He'd had a heart attack up under that tree and died, but that's what he would do. He'd sit around and eat dog food and drink white liquor just so that he could, function, be normal in his eyes. That was his normalcy. So I don't know why I started thinking about that a while ago, and then I started thinking about some of the things that went on in my life and how when I was young, I made a lot of bad choices with drugs and alcohol. I've tried about every drug there is out there on the market. My younger days, used to love marijuana, loved cocaine. Loved to drink and just loved it. And I knew that I shouldn't be doing it, but I was young, out partying, didn't really understand when people started talking about addiction. So, when I was 9, my father, he was in and out of prison all the time. That's all he done was partied. And when he partied well. He's a big man. He was like 6'6", weighed about 280, just big, jacked up dude, just muscled up dude in and out of prison. And he got to messing. He should have been home, and he was out running the roads doing his thing, and his best friend shot and killed him. Shot him 9 times, and drug him down a bank, beat him in the face with the butt of the gun, and my father died when I was 9. Well, on up in the years, I had, many people that I knew that had passed away, but the one that sticks out most to me is one day me and my wife, now we've been together about 33 years. We got 7 kids, 5 boys, 2 girls, and a bunch of grandbabies. And we was sitting at the house, and I was actually... I was give out. I'd worked all week long, and I was wore out. And the phone rang, and it was my oldest brother, and he said, "Tim, you need to come up here to the house. Our house is on fire." And I was sitting there eating a bologna sandwich. I won't never forget it. And I went out the door. I just had took a bite off that bologna sandwich. Went out the door and jumped on my street bike, took off up a road, and this is like probably 5, 6, 7 miles away from here. And I was almost halfway there, and I still hadn't even swallowed that bite of the sandwich I took. I was so nervous. But when I got there, the house was fully engulfed, and it was my childhood home. I was raised in that house with my grandparents, my grandmother, my great grandmother. They raised me in that home. And when I seen it, my heart just absolutely sunk. Well, my mother she had actually moved in there with her mother, and she was helping take care of her because my grandmother had got up in age, and they was sitting out there on a Friday night, and my grandmother, she was in the bed. My brother was upstairs with his girlfriend, and my uncle and his girlfriend was in their back bedroom watching TV. And my mother and her boyfriend decided they was going to cook out, and they was going to have chicken on the grill. Well, she decided she wanted to fix some fried chicken on the stove in the house, and they had a grill going out back with barbecue chicken on it, and a grill going in the house. I don't know why. She wanted two different kinds of chicken, I guess. Well, anyway, they got out there and they was partying or whatever and forgot about the chicken in the damn house and had a grease fire, and it blowed up on the wall and caught the damn house on fire and pretty much burnt the damn house down. Well, at that time, I had a lot of people. I had a really, really, really good job. I worked at either hospitals or colleges, building dorms and hospitals, sleep centers, whatever. I mean, we was into it all, and I had a really, really good job. And I was a superintendent for this company, and I had a lot of people that I dealt with that I bought material from, and they were going to help me. They was donating a bunch of stuff to get the house fixed back for my mother and my grandmother. And I'd already been up there, and I had a bunch of my guys come up, and we had gutted the home and the roof and everything. The roof was the last thing. We'd patched it because when they'd put the fire out, they'd cut a big hole out. Anyway, ended up having to burn the whole house down, finished putting it on the ground because my mom and them decided to take the roof off when I was out of town working, and they didn't cover it, and it rained really, really bad for about 4 days, and the rain just got inside the home and just destroyed what part was left. It was good. So my mother went in deep, deep depression. Lost everything. I mean, everything. Didn't even have a pair of pants left. Lost it all. So me and my wife just had bought us a new home, and I was trying to get her to move in with me. My mama was pretty independent. She wanted to do her thing. She didn't want to feel like that nobody had nothing on top of her, and my heart was breaking for her. I didn't know what to do. I was trying to do everything I could to help her. I tried to get her to move in with us, but she wouldn't do it. And behind my grandmother's house, it was what we used to call a well house. And it was a cinder block, probably a 8x8 building. And that's where the big well was at. Old-timey dugout well. Even had a hand crank on it where you could pull water up out of the bottom. We had a pump in it, and I mean, we pumped water to the house, whatever, but I come through there one day and hadn't seen her in a couple of days, hadn't talked to her, and I come through, and my mama, it broke my heart when I seen it. She was actually living in this well house. And she would smile and try to be mama, and I could tell something was different. And I knew that she was doing stuff. I could just tell the way she was talking, the way she was acting. And didn't really say a whole lot much because I know she was going through a bunch. So I decided to, just kind of pull back a little bit, and maybe she could work things out. Well, she called me one day and said that she had got her, going to rent her a house so they could see what they was going to do, talking about either building another home over there or doing something. So she decided until they could get everything figured out, she was just going to rent her house. And the place that she had rented, it wasn't the greatest locations, if you get my drift. And I went over that day, and she was excited about getting back in the home. I guess, landing in a bed, because like I say, they had to start over. And when I walked in one day, and my mama didn't even act like mama. It wasn't even, something was off bad, and she was messed up. And the next couple of times I went over there, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And all my babies was little. And Courtney, which was my oldest girl, her and Kaylee was getting old enough that they could tell it something was wrong with Granny. So I decided that I couldn't, as a father, I refused to let anything around my children that was going to harm them, some of the things that I was forced to be around when I was young. I refused any of that shit was going to be around my kids. So I told my mama, I'd go over there and there'd be beer cans sitting everywhere, and Courtney'd pick one up and about take a drink out of it, and me and Mama's boyfriend got into it, and he was going to smart off to me, and I stomped his ass, and I left. And I wasn't going to apologize for that. That's my babies. Ain't nobody messing with my babies. I don't care who they were. Nobody. So I decided to pull back. And I said, you know what? I can't take my babies around her. I love her. She's my mama. But I can't I don't want my babies to remember their grandma acting like this and doing this mess. So I pulled back, and I was hurt over it. I really was. I was hurt. I wanted to go see my mama, but I guess in my way, I was trying to force her to straighten up. You know what I mean? But when somebody's messed up like that, you can't force them to do shit. They're going to do what they want to do, what their mind's allowing them to do. And so for the next year, I hadn't seen my mama. So one day, and it was terrible. And I know people's going to, the comments, I'm going to get over that. Whatever. You don't even know. But something told me I need to go see my mama. So one Friday I got off work. Me and my wife went out to eat. We didn't have many times that me and her would take off by herself because all the kids. So I decided, you know what, let's go see mama. I pulled up over there and went and knocked on, and I seen my dog, well, their dog, I called him my dog. The dog's name was Winnie, named after Winnie the Pooh or whatever. And that damn dog was in the cage of a fenced lot. And I got out of the car and walked up, and that damn dog looked like the damn devil. If that son of a bitch could have got through, that son of a bitch would have tore my ass up. That son of a bitch didn't even recognize me. I told my wife, I said, they'd give that damn dog some dope or something. That dog's gone. And sure enough, somebody had been giving him meth. And it destroyed that damn dog. It was awful. Anyway, I went and knocked on the door. And I could hear Mom and them in the house. Nobody come to the door. And it made me angry. And next words I said, you need to come open this damn door. I'm going to kick a son of a bitch's plumb off the hinges. And I meant it. By the time I got ready to do it, my wife reached and touched me on the shoulder. She said, Tim, come on, stop. So I left. Pretty good ways. Probably another month or something went on. This is working over a year now. And I won't never forget, my brother called me one night and said, Tim and Mama's in the hospital. And I was frantic. Jumped in the car and took off, went up there. My mama laid in ICU. Tubes in her nose, oxygen mask, swelled up, terrible. And Mom always used to like for me. She always loved to hear me pray. And I started praying for Mama, and after we got done, I told Mama, I said, Mama, you're going to be all right. I said, everything's going to be all right. And she was holding her mask over her face, just tight as she was pushing it, making sure that no oxygen escaped around the mask. She's trying to get all she could get. And as me and you sit here, we take in about 30% oxygen. That's what our capacity, our lung takes to function in life. She was on up at that point about 60% trying to push. And she looked at me and shook her head. Pretty much told me that She wasn't going to make it out of it. Well, they ended up sending her to a Baptist hospital in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And doctors was pretty much trying to make me make a decision. Hell, about 2 days after she's in there, take her off life support. I said, I ain't doing that, man. It's too soon for all that. I said, man, you got to give God time to do what He's going to do. I'm a firm believer in what, when if it's in God's time, it ain't man's timing. But I had to let room have time to get in there, and it was like my hand was forced, and I wasn't going to do it. So about 3 weeks into it, I went down there to see my mom one day, and she was swelled up about 2 times the size of what anybody should normally be put through. And this foreign doctor from overseas came up to me. He said, Tim, I know it's your mother. And he said, but I need to tell you, he said, we're doing things to your mother, not for your mother. And that was telling me that it was hurting her. He said, for every gallon of fluid that we take off of her, 3 comes back. So I had to make one of the biggest decisions I ever made in my life that day. And I had to make the decision to take my mom off life support. And if I hope to God that nobody don't ever have to do that. I lived with that shit for a year thinking I killed my mama. And if it hadn't been for my wife helping me through that, I don't know what in the hell I'd done, because I about went crazy over that deal. Because I sat there and I was mad at God, boy. I mean, nobody could tell me anything about God at that point. I was shaking my fist at him. I was that mad at him. And sitting there, and I never got to see this. And my wife was sitting there watching. I was holding my mama's head. I was behind her, and I was holding her head, talking to her, and I was just distraught. And I looked up, and I was just crying and, uncontrollably. And my wife was telling me that on my mama's last breath that she opened her eyes and looked back up at me and then closed her eyes and went to sleep. And the reason I tell you that is people has things that's going on in their life. They know they're addicted. They don't need to be judged no more. You don't have to judge them. It's not our place to judge them. It's our place to love them. I had to make a decision for my children. I didn't want my kids to ever see my wife and I have to live with the decision I make, right or wrong. I have to live with that decision. Maybe if I was, stuck around, I could have said something to her. You don't know my mama. You don't know her. When she made her mind up to do something, by God, she was going to do it. Hell or high water, and she was going to outdo any damn man that, she could sit down with a man and drink them. I mean, it was unreal to see that woman that small and the way that she could party. And when my daddy got killed, I think a part of my mama died too, because she loved him. And when like I say, mama lost everything. And a lot of people had a lot of different things to say about addiction. And I hear people all the time, talking about, they'll see somebody in their family that's addicted, and people in their own family will call them a sorry piece of shit. And they need to die. They need to do this. People so damn judgmental. And the people that says this shit has no damn clue what addiction is. They have no damn clue. And I'm glad that some of these people has never been on any of this stuff. But until you have been in somebody else's shoes, keep your damn mouth closed. And if you can't help them in no other way than to just tell them that you love them and you're there for them and you'll help them in any way you can. But when you tell somebody that, you mean it. You don't sit back and you don't hold back and you don't say shit just to be saying it. When you tell somebody that you'll be there for them, then by God, be there. Don't tell them just to get you off the hook right then in that moment. Because one of these days, that people like these people, they know that their life's screwed up, And if you ain't never been on any kind of thing like that, when I got hurt, I've had several back surgeries, neck and back surgeries. And the doctors would put me on oxycodone. I never took a pain pill in my damn life till I got hurt. I drank beer and done everything else, but I never took none of that shit. And next thing you know, I got addicted to that shit. And I'm going to tell you right now, that like killed my ass getting off that shit. And I wouldn't take another pill like that for nothing in the world, but the shit is killing people. The young generation right now, they'll go to a party and get them a handful of oxys and a carton of beer, boy, and they off and running in a bag of weed, and they're gone. And kids love eating these damn pills. They don't realize what the hurt that they're getting ready to go through. And that was the sickest damn feeling I'd have been on my life. And yeah, I wanted to quit, just like every other person that's on meth, whatever, coke, alcohol, whatever. All of them, they know they're freaking addicted. They don't need your judgmental ass sitting there telling them they are. They know it. They don't need you to preach at them and tell them they're going to hell, because they know that too, believe me. They know God's real. They know because they talk to him. Just because that you don't see it doesn't mean that they're not speaking to the Lord, because they are. And people in their family are so damn judgmental, they want to come and crush them when all they're doing is in their own way trying to reach out and say, help me. And a lot of people screw up and say, well, let's send them to Florida. Let's send them somewhere to some rehab. And I'm not kicking these rehabs, because some of these rehabs has done really, really good things. But let me tell you about these rehabs. Those rehabs ain't worth a damn grain of salt unless the person that's going is ready to stop. They've got to be ready. You can't be ready for them. You can't do it for them. You can't walk it for them. They've got to be ready to take that step. But when they get ready to take that step, now that's when they're going to need you. The only responsibility that when somebody's on drugs and trying to come off that shit, the only responsibility that they should have at that moment in life is not even thinking about a damn job, because I promise you they cannot do it and work. They cannot come off of it and work. People say, oh, well, they need to stay busy. Bullshit. When you're sick, you're sick. You cannot function. You can't think. You're a danger. You're a danger to yourself and everybody. Because I'm telling you, when somebody's coming off that shit, they're dangerous. They could wake up one day crying and just cry all damn day, but one day they could wake up and be the angriest son of a bitch you ever seen in your life. And that's when they need that help. That's when they need to be home and have people around them that's loving them, not aggravating the hell out of them, telling them, preaching to them about the wrong that they've done or the cases that they've brought up because they've got caught with drugs. None of that shit. They need to have people around them that says, you know what, I love you regardless. Your kids love you regardless. Your wife loves you regardless. And we're going to do everything that we can to help you get off of this mess. And until we can understand, I had a person tell me one time, this dude was a real winner. He tried to say that the reason the bad decisions that he'd made in his life, that drugs was looking for him. Drugs made the decision for him. He was pretty much saying that the drugs come after him. It was like it was a written book in life that he was going to be a drug addict, and he didn't have no control over it. And the drugs it was the drugs' fault. No, it's the person's fault. It ain't no damn disease. A disease is something else that comes from something else internally in your body. This right here is man-made that you're putting in your body. Don't call it a damn disease, because it ain't a damn disease. It's an addiction that you like. You love it. Anybody that has an addiction, they don't take the shit because they just have to take it. They take it because they love it, and then it takes over their life and it rules them. So today, what we need to do, and you look at the homeless people. There's homeless people people post these damn videos all the time, and there's got to be something out there. Everybody walks by or talks about a homeless man standing on the side of the road. I ain't no telling how many times that I've stopped and give these guys or these ladies money from here to New York. Me and my wife's done it. We've helped a bunch of people. And people says, well, I ain't giving no damn drug addict no damn money so they can go out and buy a drug. It ain't. If God lays it on your heart to help these people out, then do it. It ain't up to you. You don't. If God lays it on your heart to give a man $100, then give it. It ain't up to you. So how he spends it. All you can do is pray over it and hope he does the right thing. But do your part and try to help people. Try to help them change their life. Give them a word. Tell them something that they need to hear that'll maybe, kick them off, remind them sometimes that they got a family at home. Because some of these people get strung out, they don't even know where the hell they're at. But until this world, we look at right now, there's so much hate in the world right now, and so much shit going on. War, there's so much mess going on. The only thing that seems to be out there that's trying to stick in people's mind is division. Black, white, brown, whatever. I mean, it's all about people's trying to put so much separation because of whether you're a Democrat or Republican. And let me tell you something, when drugs hit you, it don't make a damn whether you're Democrat or Republican. It comes after everybody. Now, if you go searching for it, it's got you. And these new drugs that's coming out, and the way they spiking this stuff up, and I mean, you can't even smoke a joint no more, because you got to be worried of the fentanyl that may be laid on it, and that's killing people. In our county, I think we're ranked number 2 in the nation for overdose deaths, because there's nothing here for nobody, nothing, unless you want to go to work at Walmart or a damn car wash or a restaurant. There's nothing here. People can't make a living no more, and people get their pain medication, they'll take and go sell it so they can pay the damn light bill or buy them some groceries. I mean, things is bad. And all you hear on TV is how good everything is. It ain't that sweet. Let me tell you, it might be for some, but not for all. There's a lot of people out there struggling. And that's the reason some people get hemmed up on this stuff, because they tired of hurting every day and worrying. The worry will drive a man crazy. So if you've got somebody in your family that's addicted to anything, love them. Love them first. And you might say, you don't know you're right, I don't know, and you don't know what I've done either, what I've been through, what my mom and dad went through. You don't know what people carry on their shoulders, what people hide in their closets. All I'm telling you to do is get yourself out of the way. Get your ego out of the way. Love these people. And whatever sin that they're carrying, I promise you, their sin ain't no damn greater than yours that you hide. There's a lot of people that goes to church right now, takes pain pills. It's okay for them, but it's not okay for that one to take them. Well, you say, well, I prescribed it. Well, quit your pain pill right now. Quit it for 3 days and tell me how you feel. Quit it for 3 days and tell me if you're not stuck on them. Because I'm telling you, y'all listen to these oxycodone, Vicodin, whatever it is, when you put this stuff in your body, whether you want to or not, whether you're trying to or not, whether you're overly taking, whatever, your body is becoming used to taking this stuff, and you're becoming addicted to it. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. So, unless you stop too. This drugs is wiping us out. But guys, we need to love one another. We're coming in a time right now that we're in a lost world. A lost world. We got to love one another. We got to help one another, no matter what. We got to have a little bit of compassion. No matter who the person. You might be your next door neighbor struggling. Go help them. Help them out. I challenge you to do that. Help somebody. Pat them on the back. Tell them that they look good or they're doing better. Give them a good word. Give them something. Give them hope. That's the only thing that's going to help. Give them hope. Guys, like, share, comment. Let me know what you got to say. Follow me. I've got a bunch of videos that's coming out of things that I've went through in my life. Sometimes I might sway on the political side. I get on that. I'm on that too. So I'm pretty upset with the way our world is right now. We're letting people destroy it. But like, share, comment. Tim Tilley, Invisible Pain. Thank you guys for listening.